On the biggest stage in the world, FanDuel's changing the game because sometimes your player gets subbed off and your bet goes with them. Not anymore. With FanDuel's Super Sub, if your player's subbed out, your bet stays in. That's right. If your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it until the final whistle. Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
21 plus select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus DCKYWY. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050. Massachusetts. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 877-770-7867. Louisiana.
Visit FanDuel.com. Get started now. Let there be goals this summer on FanDuel.
Here's Victoria Coates. Victoria, good morning, sweetheart. How are you?
Good morning, Sid. I'm great. Glad you're in a good mood.
I like when you come on laughing. That makes me happy. That's good. That means I'm doing my job. So you're going to be in Israel with me next week, right?
Uh-huh. We'll all be in the Holy Land. That's why we're in a good mood. We get to go back.
I think you're right. That's why. Subconsciously, I think you're right. So are you going to speak that same block on that Tuesday night like last time?
I think so. And then I've got a couple of these policy forums that we've been working on. So I think I've got 3 things that I have to do, and I think that Tuesday night is one of them.
That's
awesome.
It's
either the first night or the last night.
Right, the first night they've got Huckabee and Bibi, so you can't go wrong there either. But 3 things, that's impressive. You go back all the time. How many times have you been back to Israel since the war started?
Since the Iran war, this will be my first time.
No, since since October 7th.
I don't know, maybe half dozen.
Yeah.
It's been less frequent. I mean, because people frequently ask me how many times I've been to Israel, and I say I have no idea. Some number of times, but it's been a little bit tamped down just because it's hard to get a plane ticket at this point.
Oh, it's so hard. Let me tell you how hard it is. I'm actually taking an airline I've never heard of, but I guess for the last 2 years they've been going nonstop from Kennedy to Tel Aviv. They're called Arkia Airlines. You ever hear of them?
Huh. No.
Yeah.
I'm taking one for the team and flying Emirates.
Oh, I love them. Oh, I flew back. I'm going to tell you something right now. I flew back from Greece last year after a Cyprus trip on Emirates, and I'm going to say this at the risk of pissing off El Al. It was the best flight I ever took. The best.
Oh, it's not even close.
Right.
And I know everyone has their views on Qatar, but Qatar Air and Emirates and Etihad are just a cut above.
I agree. I can't believe I'm agreeing, but I agree with you. It's like it's a complete cut above. It's not even close.
They figured it out.
Yeah, they really did. Well, I'll ask you this, and then we'll get to the Iran war, because I mentioned this column they wrote about me today and how I opened up about all my Israel visits. I'm going back. And one of the questions the writer Garrett asked me was, what is it about Israel? Why do you keep going back? So if I ask Victoria Coates, above the obvious, above and beyond, which is they're in the news, there's a war, there's Lebanon, above and beyond that, why does Victoria Coates keep going back?
I think I keep going back because it reminds me of America. We have these countries that were based on concepts, on ideas, and that there is a very intense sense of patriotism and of commitment to something bigger than ourselves individually. And so, I think you get that sort of rough and tumble startup nation kind of vibe that was so present here 250 years ago and is still here. All you have to do is scratch the surface. You don't even have to scratch the surface. Look what's happening with Elon today. That's not happening anywhere else in the world. It's happening here in the United States. We're going to mint our first trillionaire. Can the Chinese do that? No. Can the Europeans do it? No. The Americans can do it. And you know who would probably be next in line would be the Israelis.
Yep.
So the spirit of the place just gives me chills every time I land. And, I'm a Christian. I love being in the Holy Land.
Boy, that was perfect. I got to tell you, Victoria, that was really perfect. That was very well done.
Get ready, Staten Island.
The Ferry Hawks host the Hagerstown Flying Boxcars. Tonight at 7 p.m., it's soccer night and kids glow around the bases postgame. Saturday at 6:30, it's Broadway night with postgame fireworks and Broadway rave. Sunday at 1:30, it's Military Appreciation Day and the kids run around the bases.
A great day out for the entire family. Kids run the bases after every Sunday home game. Want the best seats all season? Get more Ferry Hawks for only $63. Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.
So let's get to the big story at hand today, though. That is the Iran deal. I've already had Katie McFarland on the show. I spoke to Brian Kilmeade earlier. I had Mike Huckabee live from Israel on the show today. And I keep saying the same thing. I don't like the deal, no matter what it is, because no matter how Trump, and you know how much I love the president, I love him, he loves me, I love him. No matter how he presents this deal, it's going to be very similar to what Obama and Kerry did. There's no choice. And they're never going to comply, ever, ever, ever. And we can't give them money because if we loosen restrictions and sanctions, you know where that money goes. So a deal for me is blow them to smithereens and then let's rebuild and see what happens down the road. But to give these people anything, to me is insane. What are your thoughts?
Well, I hear you, Sid, and you know, I have, as we've discussed, no fondness for the Iranian regime, and nothing makes me happier than when somebody's dropping bombs on them. So I don't really want that to stop. But at the same time, you know, as you look at this from, you know, from a policymaking perspective, what we don't want to see is Iran collapse into sort of factional violence. And bear in mind, you know, you've got a Persian majority in Iran, but then you've got very large sort of minority populations, the largest of which is the Azeris. Then you've got the Baluch, you've got the Kurds. There are all these groups. And what I think the president wants to see is an orderly transition. So I've been thinking about this a little bit like the collapse of the Soviet Union, which could have been a complete catastrophe, resulting in a whole bunch of little nuclear-armed states. And instead, Reagan was able to manage towards what you can call a Gorbachev moment, where because of what we were doing to the Soviet Union economically, and bear in mind the Saudis were a great partner in that, because of that, Gorbachev was forced to make some concessions that baked in the collapse of the Soviet Union, but it could be managed. So I think what the president has done to Iran militarily over the last 3 months, and nobody else has done anything even remotely like that to the Iranians. I think they're still reeling from what has happened to them. I don't even think they know entirely. And then on top of it, what's been done economically, and Secretary Bessent has just been a warrior on this. I'm so impressed with him and with his team. And you know that they believe that if they could get some meaningful concessions in this deal, then we're going to have this kind of slow train wreck failure in Iran, but it'll be something we can manage. We can help make sure that is at least somewhat orderly transition to a better Iran for the region and for the United States.
This Ukraine-Russia war, I believe, is now almost 1,600 days old. It's some crazy number. And President Trump, when he won, he said on this show and many places, he said, Sid, I got to tell you, I've solved 8 world conflicts. Maybe he's able to really produce peace here in the Middle East. He's trying, certainly trying. He said the one I thought would be the easiest, I really did, was Russia-Ukraine. He goes, and Zelensky, he pulls him around like a puppet, and Putin likes him. He said, I really thought that would be the easiest one. Is that thing anywhere near ever coming to an end?
Well, it's your lucky day, Sid, because just about 2 hours ago, I have an op-ed on Fox that just dropped on this topic, and it's titled something like "Don't Look Now," but President Trump may have just saved Ukraine. Ask the Russians. So, I've been looking at this. We had that Oval Office meeting. Everybody wrung their hands and clutched their pearls and called for their eau de cologne. The president had upset the apple cart with Ukraine, that Putin was going to seize the country. We're now in year 5, as you were just saying, of his 3-day war. I don't think that's a big metric of success, personally. But if you look at what's happening in Ukraine, after that Oval Office meeting, Zelensky went back and said, those drones we're making, we got to make 10 times as many. We got to make them go 10 times further. And they wound up with these incredible long-range attack drones that they're now selling all around the world. They're cranking those things out. They're making their own 150 rounds. Remember, it's 2-3 years ago. Oh my gosh, the United States was pulling the 150 rounds out of our stockpile in Israel to give them to Ukraine.
Right.
It was a terrible situation. Now Ukraine's making their own and exporting them. And so, this was the president's tough love. And the other thing they're asking for, and I think we need to look at this very carefully, are the licenses for them to manufacture the PAC-3 interceptors for the Patriots. And we make about 60 of those a month. Ukraine is currently firing about 70 a month. That math doesn't work. I'm all for Buy American, but we make 60 for everyone, including ourselves. And, they need 70. And so, maybe it's not the PAC-3s because they are sensitive, but we should take a good look at it. Biden was too timid to do it. But it's the kind of thing that allows Ukraine to help itself. And then they can help allies. If Israel needs more PAC-3s and Ukraine's cranking them out, they can give them to Israel if we need ours for something in the Pacific. This is a much better model going forward. It's all because the president broke with the stupid as much as it takes, as long as it takes Biden approach, which was just building dependency and debt. And the really shameful thing is the idiots in Congress are now trying to stuff that genie back in the bottle. They're trying to pass another Ukraine appropriations, and a bunch of Republicans in the House who should have known better voted with the Democrats. It's gone to the Senate. It's another $10 billion for Ukraine that I don't know that they need it right now. I mean, let's look at what they actually need. Let's not just go back to this mindless check writing. And if they can make more progress, they can threaten Putin's logistic lines with these drones. Great. Let's get Putin to the table and not feeling like he's king of the universe, and that maybe he's going to have to make a bunch of concessions, too, if he wants to wrap this thing up.
And now, where is this op-ed? You said on Fox News right now?
Apparently, it's number 2. We're aiming to get to number 1, so everyone click on it.
Oh, no, it's got to be number 1. That was just a brilliant way to handle this conflict from a bunch of countries' standpoint. So Victoria Coates, go to foxnews.com and make sure that her op-ed is number 1. And I'll see you, Victoria, in the Holy Land next weekend. Thank you so much. Great job.
Next time in Jerusalem, Sid.
All right. And that's really going to happen, actually. Victoria, you have a safe trip and be well. I can't wait to see you. That's a great job, folks. Check her out, foxnews.com. Her new op-ed, Victoria Coates, happens to be the vice president of the Heritage Foundation. She's great.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
I got into a Genesis. This is luxury. Whether it's a sleek G70 or the GV80 with that third row, these are high-end vehicles with payments that actually make sense. Go see Michael. Tell him Sid sent you. Genesis of Brooklyn. Find him at genesisofbrooklyn.com.